I've called this section summary Sales Closing Transformation, and I want to spend a few minutes with you now summarizing what we've covered with Subayal in the first section of this course. It's fair to ask the key question, which is, what is the objective of this course? And I would stress that we want to help you to discover how you can close sales with conviction, clarity and confidence, which is something which is very easy to say, and there's an awful lot you've got to get underneath the skin of in order to understand what this means. Let's start with the purchase decision itself. Essentially, and I'm sure you've all realized this when you're out shopping, making any sort of a purchase is an emotional decision. And afterwards, you just justify it with logic. So you'll go out shopping, you'll see a really nice pair of jeans, which may have been discounted by 20%, but secretly you really, really like the jeans, because if you didn't like them, you wouldn't be interested anyway. So you try them on, they look great, they feel wonderful, and you think, yeah, I'm going to buy those. And then afterwards you say, oh, I got a great deal there because they were 20% off, so didn't I do well? So you've made all the emotional judgments to getting to the purchase decision, and it's only after the event that the logic comes in and you then justify what you've done with logic. Now, this is very important to understand, because if you can understand that people think like this, then you can tap, or you can learn to tap into the emotions of your prospect, and if you can do that, your chances of closing a sale go up significantly. So how do we do this? Well, essentially, salespeople, people like us selling to a client, focus on two things: how brilliant their product is. Okay, so basically the features of their product or service and why it's better than the competition. So I'm going to give you a presentation all about my product and services. And they're also thinking in the back of their minds how much money they're going to make, how much commission they're going to make on the sale. In other words, they focus completely on themselves. And this is absolutely, totally, fundamentally the wrong way to go about this. You need to focus on your prospect. What do I mean by that? You need to put yourself in a position where you're serving your prospect. You are addressing their needs, asking yourself, what are their problems and how can you help to solve them? Now, if you do this, a funny thing happens. Your prospect starts to feel, note the word feel, understood by you. They feel that you have a rapport with them, that you understand their problems and you want to help them. And if you can achieve this, then you stop trying to push features at them. You stop thinking about how much money you're making. You start connecting with them because you come across as caring about them. You connect with them on an emotional level. This is very powerful, because if you can establish that emotional connection and you make yourself feel, or make them feel, that you're the person that is best suited to helping them and solving their problems and making their life easier, they'll be ready to buy from you. Now, we've also learned about the importance of communication skills from Subayal. Essentially, the problem with communication is that inside, all the things you're feeling and thinking, oh, I'm thinking about how much money I'm going to make, brilliant, actually ultimately does come through. And people will sense whether or not you are sincere, whether you care about them, and if all you're doing is thinking about yourself, then they're not going to get that sense of care and mutual feeling and emotion that you want them to have with you. Things like body language, things like the tone of your voice, things like the energy with which you share your thoughts and your ideas with them. As I am with you now. Therefore, your non-verbal communication signals have to be totally consistent with the sales conversation you're having, whether it's in the room or over the phone. Now, again, there's another complication here, because body language, people who understand these things will explain to you that body language is about 50% of non-verbal communication, which is absolutely fine when you're in a room with your prospect. But what if you're not? In today's internet-driven communication age, you're just as likely to be communicating by Zoom, particularly during lockdown, as we've been going through the pandemic crisis, or by Skype. And this means that your Body language messages are muted, they're toned down, they're substantially reduced, and the impact your body language is having is much lower. You can see me gesticulating here, but we're still removed. You can't get a sense of what my body language is really telling you. However, your voice and your tonality, listen to mine, consequently become more significant and potentially much more impactful, and you have to learn to use this. Now, this course is basically for anyone who's involved in sales, entrepreneurs, C-suite executives. In fact, when you think about it, anybody who's in business, because anybody who's in business is at the end of the day selling something. Now, in the coming sections of this course, you're going to learn a lot more about serving your clients, about sales psychology, and about communication skills. We're going to be turning everything you thought you knew about sales on its head. We're going to make you do a 180-degree about turn. We're going to show you how to approach sales from a totally different direction. Today, you are probably a conventional salesperson. And I know that's a difficult thing to do, and it's a stressful environment, stressful life. And if you're in business of any kind, you're probably approaching it the way you've always been taught to do it. But we're going to show you how to become the unconventional salesperson, which we believe will enable you to become much more successful. This is not just about how you transform the way you close sales. This is about how we will transform you as a salesperson. So I look forward to sharing with you my understanding and my interpretation of Subayal's amazing content in the coming lectures.